Folks, welcome back to Barstools and Bandtalk. Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Molson and Coors Light. I always say I'm not a corporate sellout, yet I am. We are here with Mr. Tony Lepre, segment 2. How you doing, sir? Good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. How y'all doing?
And it's amazing, man. You know, we're first one was Friday, the second one's here on Sunday, and we're wearing the same clothes and we're still looking fresh. Hey?
Yeah, exactly.
So we in at the last segment, we were talking about your genre of music and how it doesn't always get a fair shake, and it's not a super, I guess, easy genre. You know, it's really funny because you see people that, I mean, that type of drumming, and I'm a drummer, that type of drumming for me would be at the edge of my, not necessarily ability, but stamina maybe sometimes. You know, for you guys, you know, your fingers are going, it's tight. Explain how you guys craft a song and what happens when you rehearse.
Well, like on this album, some of the songs, I'll just pick one, let's say Island of Seven Skulls. It was originally called Matoyer. Chris and I wanted to write a song for Bill, right? Because Bill Matoyer is an old school thrash head. And so we just would sit, me and my brother Chris would just sit and play these different riffs, different patterns of whatever it was, you know, a big OCD fucking stew of shit. and just kind of like, does that work? Does that work? And he'd come up with some ideas and, you know, what's this make sense? Is this, you know, how does it fit? And through that process, we came up with what you pretty much hear is the final, you know, arrangement of Madness. And then, you know, brought it to those guys. Billy and Mike were in the band. And like, okay, you know, you guys have anything to put into this? They added a few, you know, touches and pieces and fine tunings. And then Mandrake just put this ridiculous vocal thing over it. And in that song, he goes like, you know, I don't know, there's probably 5 different vocal singing styles he does in the middle genre that, you know, there's a band, let's say whoever they are, they do that. And that's all they do is this, right? And then he does this thing over here and that is this band, that's what they do. And it's like, you know, that's what trips me out about him is he can go pretty much across the board. So that's a process. And as far as the lyrics go, depending on what song and who, whatever, but that was written with me and Mandrake and just kind of, again, putting a message up with some kind of, you know, mental visionary thing of what we're trying to present to you.
Well, in our first segment, I mentioned, you know, I heard him and I immediately thought King Diamond. And I hopefully when I said that it was a respectable, you know, reference. That's why.
Oh yeah. It's an honor. I mean, all that stuff is, if we play something that reminds you of something you've heard before, that's great. That's awesome.
Well, and you know, I had to listen a couple of times, and when I threw that one out there in the last segment, and you acknowledged it, I'm like, okay, my ear is pretty good because I listened to the stuff the first time through, and it's like the influences are hidden. I'm hearing a little bit of Maiden, I'm hearing King Diamond, and if I'm wrong, I'm hearing some Judas Priest, I'm hearing some heavy stuff. It's kind of you called it a hodgepodge melting pot. It all comes together, and it sounds like you guys.
Yeah, I mean that's because people have asked, you know, about influences and stuff, and this is the thing is that we all have, you know, we're all rockers, metalheads, but everybody has, you know, specific stuff. And an example would be like the song Last Stand. It's basically 70s rock modernized. There's Aerosmith and Queen riffs in there, some Chicago, like from the first album stuff. And it just kind of made it heavier and more up to date. You know, Eyes Closed, which is the song we actually all wrote together, the first one, is really just a booty shaking riff, you know, some rock riff thing going on with classic Zeppelin-ish type of patterns that are like, okay, that's a John Paul Jones thing. It works perfect right here, you know, because we have all that in there. We have a lot of classic rock and a lot of old school metal. As far as this album goes, that's what's on there, you know, that kind of stuff.
So you had mentioned you guys were doing some playing, and I'd like to tackle that. But one of the things I'd like to tackle, I was at the Judas Priest in Queensrÿche here in town a couple of weeks ago, and wicked show. The most annoying thing was this: everybody was like this, right? So they weren't paying attention to what was going on. It was their phones. They're taking video, they're posting pictures, and you know, I play in a band where I'm on stage and I see it happen too. And luckily, everything that's been posted by other people without my permission, of course. They haven't caught me train wrecking yet. I'm sure it's coming at some point. What's your thoughts on that? Do you find it distracting? Do you just tune it out? What are your thoughts?
It doesn't distract me unless they're like, somebody gets way too close to me personally. That's weird, but which doesn't happen. But it's part of what's been going on. It's the new norm. It used to be lighters and God knows whatever. That was a running joke for a long time. Hey, lighter. Now it's the phones, and people turn the phones on to be like a lighter thing when they want to do that kind of a, exclamation or showing that thing. I always enjoyed the experience of this interchange of energy, where you're completely zapped into this experience as a fan, as a guy who's gone to hundreds of concerts over the years, and like I'm there because I'm getting this high, this interaction, this exchange of vibrations, energy, the universe, whatever it is that's going on. So I'm not going to have my phone. It's not going to get involved in that.
Right.
Whatever the people do is fine. It's but
yeah, and so the thing too is that I don't know with you guys, but sometimes we'll do shows and you get musicians that are out and they got the phone up because they're waiting for you to either have a bad night or train wreck. I personally don't get bothered by that at all. If you're coming to watch me fail, then you should probably just go home. So long as I get your $10 first to get through the door. It's okay. I make mistakes when I play. It's okay. Whatever, but if that's their goal is to catch me, then, I would love to go, hold on, I'll just make one for you now. And then you can go on your way. Right.
Hey.
Right. Exactly. So let's have a little fun here. So you mentioned you went to hundreds of concerts. So out where I live, and again, I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia. You're
right.
Are you originally from Long Beach?
LA. Yeah. LA. Yeah. Los Angeles. Yeah.
So for you guys, you could go to any club and see any, amazing band on any given night, and you get, tours that come through. We're waterlocked. We got one piece of maybe land that's 13 kilometers across, and other than that we're an island, so our concerts are few and far between. First show that you saw that blew you away?
Well, the first concert I went to was the California World Music Festival at the Coliseum, which was this crazy 2-day festival of like every freaking band, Nugent, Aerosmith, Van Halen, Cheap Trick, the list is endless. Outlaws, just a bunch of bands were on that thing. Boomtown Rats. That was crazy. That was my first concert. So from there, it was just like, I don't know. I've seen Iron Maiden, Judas Priest the most, like probably 6 or 7 times, over the years. I have ones I can remember to some extent because of all the, indulgences we used to do. But I remember pretty much a lot of them, but there's certain things I remember very specifically. One of them was in Reno. I believe it was Iron Maiden, Scorpions, and Girls School. And it was at like a high school field, like, the high school football field. And it was like ridiculously bitching because, you're right there. And here's these 3 kick-ass bands. You're like, oh my God, this is so fucking bitching. So it wasn't like the big arenas or the big festivals where like, just millions of people like in the fish, sand in the beach or whatever. But there's a few of those. And then I do remember seeing Zeke at the Troubadour and it was fucking loud.
Yeah.
And they were fucking great. And it was just, things like that, come to play when you're like, whatever.
And yeah, it's funny because I lived in Toronto for 7 years, and Toronto is a lot like Los Angeles in that, part of the challenge isn't enough concerts. It's how many can you actually afford to go to in any given week, right?
Right.
But you see some amazing people in the clubs. Explain that scene again to people, because like I say, out here, we're just kind of we're a big Celtic-y kind of scene and things like that. What's your scene like out there now?
As far as the metal scene goes, or just the club scene, or?
Yeah.
Well, there's there's a diversity of all the metal genres are represented. And so whatever that is, it shows up and supports their bands, or their people, their scenes, whether it's a music club or just like a lifestyle club or whatever it might be, So it's there.
Right on. And again, as a kid that grew up in, well, not even Halifax, but Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, was right across the bridge. It was one of those things where I had, I'm looking at the Hit Parader magazines and the circus magazines and going, holy smokes, that must have been quite the place to grow up. But, your tunes, again, I hear the throwback, but I hear freshness too. Sounds very fresh.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Because, even though my brother does make the kind of, we are a tribute to metal or, heavy music in that context. But I learned a long time ago that, there's 12 notes, maybe 7 you might actually play, and there's about 4 chords, maybe 5, and so everything I ever listened to growing up was in that realm. And pretty much anything I want to play is going to be in that realm, unless I'm doing some crazy like prog jazz fusion stuff. And, how you make it. And I just, what gets me off is what I go for when I'm writing or playing is like, what do I want to hear? What am I going to get excited playing? Which I presume is the same for everybody, but I don't know. But that's, where we bring it, hopefully. And if people get off on it, that's awesome. If they don't, that's okay.
So the album, full-length album, Game Changer.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell our folks where they're going to find your material? Because like I say, I've been giving it a listen now for the last couple of days. It's great. Tell us where we're going to find you.
I know that in the States, hard copies are in various independent music stores, which there's like a link on our website for that, as well as you can get hard copies like CDs and stuff from Weapon Records, the Vanity Music Group, there's links up there on the website for that as well. You can obviously anywhere digital, you can Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, anywhere you listen to music, we're there. YouTube channel is great. We have, videos up. There's some very cool stuff that we like that we did. There's a little more on the creative side of things with the visual presentation. So,
Tony, man, I want to thank you for your time. I've been doing this about 2 years, and it's been great that the different people that I've met, everybody's got a different story, but the last 2 years has kind of been the same for everybody. And the big thing is creativity and getting their music out. And now that things are going, everybody's super excited.
Let's get out there and play. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir. I want to thank you for doing this, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Love the material, and we'll chat soon.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
Peace
out. Yeah.